What the heck? It's just 2.2. Yes, this is. I'm not doing another season. This is not for your eyes. We're doing the best 11. He's not in it, so just look away. Folks, welcome back to Glory Hunter, and of course this is where things ended. So if you're catching up, spoilers, I don't beat PSG in Ligue 1. They're too good. It's not fair, and we're not continuing the series for another year. Before I get started, thank you for all the comments on especially the last episode of Glory Hunter and throughout the series, of course, but your support and love and appreciation for the series was way beyond what I thought it would actually be. So it's so great to see so many people supporting what was a new idea for me, and to see so many people in the community get involved as well. Tremendous. I might do a video recapping some other people's saves as well. Join the Discord if you want to get involved in that. If you've got a Glory Hunter save going on, there's a Glory Hunter section. We can discuss it there. Now, of course, do you know, if you've been watching the very end of Glory Hunter, that the histories of players disappeared, and this man, by the way, I'm going to mention him very quickly, Arthur Ruiz, will not make my best 11, but just know, if we'd have won things, more so than the French Cup, he would have probably got in there, but he's not quite made it, and there was lots of contenders in his position. Of course, you know, because there's no history, we have to go back in time to January 2038 we have to go to, so I can see the history, to talk through all the boys that I'm sure you're familiar with. Okay then, folks, back in time we've gone, say January 2037, so a little bit further back maybe than I thought, but all the players that are in my best 11 that are on my list, weren't Marseille players. So this actually works out okay. Of course, we won't be able to see what they did up until the very end of their careers, but we were able to get a good gist. Some of them have retired, of course, and we won't be able to see their complete history, which is very annoying. Football Manager, please don't let that be a thing. If I want to save profiles, let me save profiles. So yeah, let's take a look through them. Let's go through some names and bring you my best / favourite, but more so best overall 11 throughout the whole series. Because they were the best, they are sort of my favourite. I thought about doing two different ones, but they sort of they come together nicely. I actually made a full list of people, of names that were contenders for this, and players that have very nearly got in but just missed out. So let's start where I expect you know we're going to start, at goalkeeper. Now, goalkeeper had lots of different options. We had Handanovic, Kick Wolf, Livakovic was on there as well, of course. There's some other names that we had at Leipzig, Adriano, I think was one of them. But the man we're going with, and I don't think you'll be surprised by this as I have to type his name in to bring him up, he's still, beautifully, where is he? Here is that main man then. Alper Aydin is our guy. We had him for a period when we were at Arsenal, of course. We brought him in for big money, £45 million. He came in, he was a absolute rock, and has gone on, probably in my opinion, to be the best goalkeeper in the entire save. Like, I don't think there's going to be many goalkeepers better than him. He's 32 now, has been capped so many times for Turkey, and was an absolute superstar for me. As I say, Handanovic in that first season, Kick Wolf, they came close, as well as a few of the others that were fantastic too. But Aydin just gave me that platform to build upon, and that the whole defence at Arsenal was outrageous. Another Arsenal defender actually makes it in to this list, someone that will probably be surprising to a lot of you, but he was tremendous. So Alper Aydin, he's our first man on the team sheet. There he goes. Look at that, beautiful. All right, then, let's move on to right back. So we've got our goalkeeper settled. He's in, right? Right back. Now, this again, we talked about Arsenal players. Hector Bellerin, very, very close to making this list. Vargas, Maffeo, players that were very, very good for me at certain times. We had some really good Dortmund fullbacks as well. But the man that I'm going with at right back, and this will be a surprise to pretty much none of you, I don't think I can actually type his name in. I don't think he exists, if that makes sense. We have to go way, way back to Inter Milan. And you knew it'd be this guy. Of course it is. Valentino Lazaro is our man. In those first couple of seasons, this is frustration, we can't see. He was an assist machine, viewers. He was so, so good. And, he was part of the side that did magical things very, very early on for me at Inter Milan. I never got my Lazaro. For those that remember those first couple of seasons or you've watched through them, you're thinking back now, you're thinking, yeah, he did bang on about him a lot. And for me, no one really got close. Bellerin was probably the only player that was consistently brilliant for a long period of time. But Lazaro gave me that first season, the unexpected Champions League win. And for that alone, him and Asamoah on either side were fantastic. I'll say now, Asamoah isn't the left back, and I couldn't not have one of them. So Valentino Lazaro what a man. What a beautiful man. Only 50 appearances for Inter, it should be said, but yeah, it was a key figure for me. So he goes in then. It's Aydin and Lazaro, both on the team sheet. And we're staying in Italy for this next one as well. Of course, there was quite a few good defenders, especially in that first year where Godin, De Vrij and Skriniar were there. He's now head of youth development, unemployed. Maybe we should get him in at Marseille if we were to continue. But look at that. What a career he had. The big thing for Skriniar is he's one of the only players to have won the league with me as well as winning the Champions League. If you take a look at his milestones, they've done all sorts, by the way, in recent years. He retired a few years ago. He won the Champions League with me very, very early on, of course. And then when I came back, he won Serie A with me as well. And for that, I am very, 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 very grateful. You can see his career turned out pretty good in Italy. Inter became a powerhouse of Italian football, winning multiple titles after I left. It's worth noting that Kick Wolf, of course, is there now as well. So yeah, a really, really good side. And alongside Lazaro, alongside Aydin, Milan Skriniar goes into, what a defender. Wow. Boss! Is this my moment, boss? The next person, what's the point? The next person in the best overall 11 is Sting Shouting, everybody. Boss! It's me! I did it! It was worth it, boss! Yeah. If you could just calm down, just remember, calm down! I've made the best team! It's sort of best, sort of favourite shouting, so... No, I deserve this, but I've worked for this. I'd written down Saliba, Sadru, Ribeiro, Castillo at Leipzig. They were good options. But we've gone with Shouting. Yeah, bring him up. Now this man, and I hate to say it, became a bit of a meme. Is that fair, viewers? Sting Shouting, of course, we haven't got his full history here, worth noting that. This is a point where he's had half a season at Marseille. But he's one of the only players, in fact, maybe the only one, I don't know, is he the only player? 3 teams? There was maybe a couple. I'm trying to think now. I mean, Belotti maybe was at a few. But anyway, Leipzig, Valencia, and Marseille. He didn't quite win the French league with me, but he did win La Liga. He did win the Bundesliga and their domestic competitions as well. He went on to be a pretty good player for Holland, by all accounts as well. You can see his wins there, like, doing all sorts of business. Of course, add a French Cup to that as well with Marseille. And of course he was in here, viewers. Of course he was. Won the Europa League as well, of course. Forgot to mention that. The Europa League was done by him too. So, sensational. Give him his props. Shout at everybody. Put him on the thing. And he's 3 teams, viewers, where it actually mattered. A few of these boys with the flags, or the badges, I should say, played for more, but we're not including the ones that didn't matter as much. All right, next up. And this might be the one that is a bit of a surprise. Left back, we had... And Zaghi was at a few clubs for me. Was he the best there, though? I wouldn't say so. Fleissner, you might remember Asamoah, we mentioned, as well as a few others. But the man that I've gone for, we go to Arsenal. It's Kieran Tierney. Now, Kieran Tierney is unemployed, but there was a period of time when I got to Arsenal quite early on where he just felt like such a steady... The phrase would be steady Eddie. He was the steadiest of Eddies. If you actually go to Arsenal's best 11, we'll show you that way. And some of the players in this are so unfortunate. Saliba and Sadru deserve... We're talking about defenders. Both of them deserve mentions. They were both absolutely fantastic. Both, I say both still playing. Sadru still playing, absolutely brilliant. And Saliba, of course, we had at a few different clubs. At this point, is actually still alive, so that's quite nice. Still alive, so that's quite nice. Went to Barcelona post Arsenal, and that whole back four were tremendous. But for me, and you can see based on the average ratings there as well, Kieran Tierney was the absolute guy. Absolutely brilliant player. And we got so many great performances out of him. Really, really solid. So he... Again, surprise candidate. You probably forgot we even had him. Goes in at left back, and now we move to midfield. So first in, and it's the Skriniar syndrome, really. That of course he goes in. He was my first major signing, and while in that first season it didn't really seem to work as well as I'd hoped it would, in the second time around when we came back to Inter and we played with him again, the man was a fully fledged monster by that stage and helped us win the league title. Went to Granada, went to Newcastle as well in his time, and I think we had him as... I think we do actually have him as a coach at some point. I don't know if it says we had him anyway. Yeah, at Nice we had him as a coach. Absolutely brilliant. Like, such a good play. If you've used him on Football Manager this year, if you watch the Streamer Showdowns as well, you know he's been a big part of those for many teams. Do I need to say much about him? It's so good. Like, we know it's SMS, viewers. It's SMS. Now, the partner for SMS. Now, this was one of the hardest choices I had to make, and the player I've gone for, and this is so weird, wasn't even, in terms of performances, you'll see what I mean in a moment. So players I've got written down Joachim Para was brilliant. Tielemans was very good. Very, very good Tielemans. Tielemans is very lucky to have us out here. Paul Carr was another one I had. Kleber written down here, as well as the recent players we've had either at Marseille or Valencia as well, who've been absolutely brilliant too, but not quite as good. And it was a key player to bring into this side. Let's bring him up on screen. The man I'm describing is Matthias Friss. Now, you look at his time at Leipzig, especially those early seasons when we brought him, there's not, average rating wise, you don't look at that and go, wow, Ben, yeah, he was brilliant. You don't think that. But in terms of what happened at Leipzig, upon his arrival, he was one of the first players I brought in that I thought, you're going to be world class. You're like that. That's what changed the Leipzig side of that time. If we bring up their best 11, actually, he doesn't even make their best 11. That's wild to me. And now figure out where it was I was actually there, which is sometimes very challenging. We played this diamond, of course. He was one of the first players that we had that just made the team tick. We were just better with him, whatever it was, and he went on to be world class, and I knew he would be. But it was the first sort of regen I bought. He was quite young at the time, of course. We had Para, and it never really worked out at Dortmund with him. But with Friss, we won everything. Like his history at Leipzig, I say won everything. We won the things we needed to win. He did it. He won the Bundesliga. He won the German Cup with me, and was such a pivotal part of that. And sometimes players like that just go a little bit under the radar, but not in my mind. I remember every time I had Friss in the side, I knew I had a really good chance of winning. So Matthias Friss, Yuri Tielemans is unlucky, and Nguem is unlucky, as well as a few others. Luis Ricardo is unlucky because they were great too. Of course, he was a part of this side too. You can see him there. He was equally brilliant. And again, another player that went on to be world class. But Friss was like, he was the key to it all. When Kabay was terrible all those seasons, Friss made up for it. And he just felt, I don't know, the average ratings don't bear it out. But I just remember thinking, we're good when you play. And it just works. He's my Jordan Henderson, viewers. He's my Jordan Henderson. You can't see it, but you just know. All right, then. So Friss is in alongside SMS. And now, formation-wise, this was tricky. Did I play a 4-2-2 or did I play a 4-2-1-1, sort of 4-3-1? I've gone for the 4-3-1. I've put one of the strikers in behind the other striker. You know who those people are. But let's go for maybe the more interesting selections. The left-hand side and the right-hand side. And this, again, closely contested. But we go, firstly, on the right-hand side, we go back to Arsenal. There he is, Nicolas Pepe. Now, of course, because we don't have his history here, we don't get to see necessarily what he did, but luckily we can look at the Arsenal best 11 and you can see season on season just how good this man was. So take a look. You can see there then, this is the Arsenal side of 24-25, my first season at Arsenal, and Nicolas Pepe, 27 goals that season, a 7.35, and he was a player that I tried to replace on a couple of occasions. Like I think about some of the names written I've got here. Vignato was one that I brought in to think, oh, he can come with me from Dortmund. He'll be a superstar. And every time I played Vignato, he was never as good as Pepe. 22 goals the next season. And then even played a part in the last one as well. 12 goals in that one. Was just like terrifyingly good. And again, I look at some of the names I've got written down. Cristiano, of course, that we had at Inter. I say Vignato was one of them. And Ruiz recently with Marseille, who was also sensational. But for me, and as much as Vignato sort of slots in there, Nicolas Pepe was kind of unlucky. Like he should never have done that. He had probably the best performances for me of any right winger. Zeno at Valencia, I thought was going to be the guy, and just was never really the guy until that final year where he sort of clicked. But Nicolas Pepe goes in the side. He makes my best/favourite 11. The man was a monster. He was so good. And to the left-hand side we go. And of course, you know that he was part of my French journey with Marseille. This version of Stéphane Mdel did not. But he's the man that takes it. There's just some players, the football manager, that I click with. Was he the best? No. Did he have the highest star rating? No. Did he score the most goals? No. Did he get 19 assists in a league-winning season? You're damn right he did. 19 for him with 9 goals. A 7.46 for phenomenal. £6 million. Again, I refer back to my list, viewers. Players that maybe could have been in this position. Ansu Fati was fantastic. Unavar, of course. Julian Brandt was in there as well. Vinicius Jr. at Arsenal was also sensational. I'm sure there are others, right? But there was no one that I sort of clicked with and depended upon at such a cheap price with attributes that are good without being great. Stéphane Mdel, man. What a guy. Get him in that team. Lovely jubbly. Love that man. Love him. And 2 Danes as well. 2 Danish players. Fantastic. All right, then. There's only 2 men that we are left to talk about. You know who they are. Let's do it in this order. He'll play behind the other one. So to play in my number 10 position, because he can do it slightly better than the other guy, we'll go with Philip Game. what a player. The best player I probably used in the entire save. Oh, he's still great now. Of course, we've got a little bit of history for him. You can look at it. Since I've left Valencia and gone to Marseille, I've not really talked about it much. But you can see we weren't there for 5 years. He just continued to be absolutely phenomenal. £73 million spent, a massive gamble at the time, and a gamble that, my God, did it pay off. Goals galore, won things with me, did everything that I wanted him to do in a Valencia side that felt like it was never going to challenge Real Madrid and Barcelona, but it did, and it did the business. And they've won the league again since me being there. What is there to say? He's the best player. He's the best player I used in the entire series. Whether he's the favourite or not, I don't think he's many people. Some of you, he will be the favourite, but wow, Philip Gave. I just look at his attributes. Beautiful. Actually, I didn't mention it, like in this role. This was the position. I wrote down like 7 or 8 names. I wrote down Aragon, Tarden, Oara, Mikel Terena, Kabai, then crossed it out, Turl, Akiza, players that I had in this position that were so good, but like I couldn't leave him and the main man out, so we had to sort of put him in this position or play 2 up front. I'm sure you can understand. Philip Gabe, everybody. What a man. Now, fortunately for me, in this version of the game, Diego hasn't retired, so we can look through his history. I didn't even buy him, but you know, if you're watching Dortmund especially, I was thinking about buying this man. Diego was on my radar at Lille, and Arsenal bought him and then offered me a job. And the opportunity to link up with him for the years that we did, how can I turn down that opportunity? 23, 18 and 28 goals respectively, that final season of 7.48. Unbelievably good. He had his own thing. The harmonica was bought at Christmas, and he became key to that. We then went to Inter Milan after leaving Arsenal, of course, and bought him for big, big money. Did he let me down? Did he? Heck, we won the league title. Cancer, really. 7.53 for Inter in that first year. Well worth the money, and became an icon for them, a legend for them, as you'd expect. What a phenomenal player. What a phenomenal talent. Even at this tender age of 33, I tried to get him to Marseille so many times. You will never understand the anger and anguish of him not wanting to join me at Marseille. I must have bid for him so many times. It hurts. I mean, technically, I'm a few years in the past. Can I get him now? I mean, I've got the money. If this now works at this period of time, by the way, I'll be fuming. And there's Gabe again. No, I want Diego. I actually did a poll on Twitter because there are 2 players that I feel like have sort of defined this series, and I was fascinated to know who your player of the series would be. And it was between was it me, boss? It was between Schouten and Diego, and with not long left in the vote, I should say, only 50 minutes left. Diego wins it. 55% of the vote goes to Diego. 45, of course, if you do the maths, to Schouten. I actually thought Schouten would win by like 80%. But this man obviously had a bigger impact than even I realised on you guys. Wasn't as good as Gabe, but the impact, the goals, the legacy of Diego, a player that will now be remembered in series for years to come. Diego, everybody. Not said like that, Ben. Diego. What a guy. So there we are then. That completes our 11 of players that we've got in that. Players that have missed out. Strikers, I didn't mention. Belotti, Danny Graham, of course, Victor Hugo. Diallo was on this list as well, of players that I come up with and players that I wrote down. It's quite the 11. Would it have won everything around Europe? I don't know. It'd have been pretty close though. Oh, look at it. Diego and Gabe together. I think so. That was always the dream, but it never quite materialised. Thank you for watching this series. I don't know how long this video was. Probably a relatively long one, as we've gone through lots of things and talked about a trip down memory lane, really. Hopefully you enjoyed it though. If there's any more videos on Glory Hunter, I don't know if there's anything else I could do really. Maybe I could do it years in the future, but the problem with that is that all the histories are gone, so it's a bit irrelevant really. So there we go. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, do drop a like on this final Glory Hunter related episode. Well, no. I might do the episode, of course, where you send me your save, so we'll discuss that. If you enjoyed it, drop a like. Want to see some more? Make sure you subscribed, not for Glory Hunter, but for whatever comes next, and I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.